Hey everyone, so today is a super fun video. I'm really excited. So I am going to be doing talking about kind of like my book boyfriend, book fiance, and then book husband. I grabbed this idea from Jen from the Book Refuge. She did this a while ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, and I just remembered it. I was like, that's such a fun idea, so I want to do my take on it and show you my absolute favorite heroes and what I love in heroes. So I'm super excited. We're going to start from book boyfriend to book husband. So let me grab the first stack of books. I'm really excited to share this with you. I have historicals. I have lots of different genres. So the first one to share with you is Anthony from the Viscount Who Loved Me. Yes. So I just love Anthony's character. I think he's so funny, and I love his banter with Kate, and I just love how much like he loves his family and protects his family, especially his sisters, and he's just an amazing character, and I love him so much. He's just one of my favorite heroes ever, and he just makes my heart happy whenever I see him. He's just like the classic broody, angry hero, but like judged up in historical. And here's the gorgeous step back. I love it. So I just love him, and I'm so happy to put him on my list. And then I have another historical romance, and that's Mine Till Midnight by Lisa Kleypas. So Cam is like one of my favorites of all of her heroes. I just love him so much. I think he's amazing. He's a made man, which means he, got his fortune by himself. He didn't have any help like a lot of other rich like aristocrats in historical romances. And he's just so amazing. I love him. And I love how he deals with problems, and he's just like, he's so dreamy. I love Cam, and he's like kind of a bad boy to the heroine, and that's super fun. So I just really love him, and this is such a great historical romance, so definitely go check this one out. Okay, so now we're getting into some contemporaries. Oh, my books almost just fell. So I have Credence by Penelope Douglas. So I think equally I love all of them. Like, I couldn't just pick one, even though I know who she ends up with, because I don't know if you can say who she ends up with, because that might be a spoiler for some people. But I love all of the guys equally, Noah, Jake, and Caleb. And I just love this story. I love how overprotective they are of her. I love how they help her experience life. And they all bring so many different things to the table. Like Noah's this funny, playful guy, and Caleb's this broody, mysterious guy. And Jake's this like, older guy that is wanting to help her and really just wants to take care of her. And I should do a reread of this because this is just, it's so fantastic. I love this book. This edition is gorgeous. It's the Hello Lovely box edition. And I just love this book. And I love all of the characters. There's definitely going to be a ton of Penelope Douglas heroes on this list because she's one of my favorites ever. And so here's another one. Pike. I love Pike. He is just such an interesting character. I love how invested he is in trying to keep Jordan away from him. But then it's so rewarding and amazing when they finally get together, and I just love him so much. I love his protectiveness over her and wanting to help her and make her feel comfortable and not be like creepy, even though he has feelings for her and she has feelings for him, and it's just amazing. And I really, really love this book. And I love Pike. He's so awesome. And I just love that he's this like construction worker, business mogul, and I just love him so much. He's one of my favorites, so I just had to put him on here because I love him. So this next one is a motorcycle romance, and that's Kai from Heart Recap. That's Kai from Heart Recaptured by Tilly Cole. I love this book. I love Kai. He is the definition of a bad boy. Like, he's a bad boy to his core. And the way he is so sweet with Lila, because she escaped a cult and she is still kind of very traumatized from that. And she grew up in the cult, and that's always been her life, and so she doesn't know anything different. And so he kind of helps her out of her shell and become the woman who she's supposed to become. And I just love him so much. I want to do a reread of this because it is just so good, and there's so much action. This is the second book in the series. I would definitely read it in order, though, because you have to know certain things of what's going on with the cult and stuff.
Hey guys.
I'm doing a video! So you have to know certain things, or it won't make sense. So I definitely read this series in order, but I just love Kai. I love him. He's this like blonde, amazing, crazy dude, and he's cute and hot and just so sweet. Okay, so now we're moving on to book fiancés. So the way I want to categorize this is book boyfriends is like, you're my side boo. I love you, but you're just not there yet for me. You need a little refinement. Book fiancé is like, you're almost there, but there's just like a little something missing. Or I love you, but I love like my book husbands way more. So one of the first ones I wanted to talk about was Cristiano from the White Monarch series. Yes, I remember the series. The White Monarch series by Jessica Hawkins. He is just, I just love him. I love him so much. He is just so mysterious, dark, brooding, interesting. You just want to get to know him. And honestly, if I met him in real life, I think I'd be terrified of him because he seems so scary. But when he's with the heroine, he really challenges her and like shows her, you know, different sides of the story of what happens in this story. But just, you know, shows her a different part of life. And I just love that about him. And I just think I'm a diehard for a good bad boy, but like, he's not bad really, if that makes sense. So this story is actually a love triangle. So I'm going to go a little bit in the past of the book. So our heroine is the daughter of one of the biggest Mexican cartel leaders or people in Mexico. And when she was young, her mother is murdered, and Cristiano is standing over her mother's dead body covered in her blood, and he like escapes, and so everybody thinks he's the one that killed her. And Diego, which is Cristiano's brother, is now like in a relationship with our heroine. So she has always thought that Cristiano killed her mother, and so she absolutely hates him, and he ends up coming back into the picture years later with his own like cartel and stuff, and it gets really crazy. This is just so amazing. I love this series so much. It's dramatic, it's fun, it's amazing. So I would definitely go check this out. I absolutely love him. He's my forever boo. With Mexican cartel romances, because I love him so much. He's like one of my favorites. Okay, so this next book, I love this guy for who he is, not necessarily the book or the whole series, if that makes sense, and that's the From Blood and Ash series. So I love Hawk so much, or Cass. I love Cass so much because I love the way he treats Poppy and the way he challenges her and makes her a better person. And he's just amazing. I love him so much. And I love the way he is with Poppy. But I definitely don't love this series as much as I love the characters, because the series is kind of slow sometimes and annoying. But I just love Hawk so much. He's like one of my favorite heroes. But the reason he's not a book husband is because of the storyline and like the way like these books drag out, and I like the angstiness in romances, and sometimes it's not angsty and just kind of stands still because they are together already. But I still love him. He's one of my favorites. Okay, so this next one is awesome. I love him. And that's Cassian from A Quarter Silver Flames. I love Cassian so much. I love him for who he is. He wouldn't be like perfectly compatible with me, I think, like in my eyes, but I still love him so much, and I love how he is with Nesta and just how he brings out the best in her. And I think that's an amazing quality in a hero, and how he really just helps her heal, and I just love him. He's kind of like, he's hilarious. He's like that like light, fun friend, but also can be there when you really need him. And I just love that about him so much, and I love his dynamic with Nesta. So I can never see like them parting because they're so made for each other. But I still love him, and I love this book, and this book was one of my favorites in the series. I just love it so much. You definitely need to read the series in order. This is part of the ACOTAR series. This is a really fun cover I got from A Touch of Magic. And here's like the back. It's so fun. But I love Cassian. He's just so fantastic. So yeah, I love him. Okay, so this next book is Maxim, and he is part of the Kingmaker series, and I just love him because I really like his character and his views as a person. He's really into saving global warming and nature and the environment, and I really appreciate that. And I appreciate how headstrong he is, and even in moments of despair, he's there for the heroine, and he is there for the people he loves. And I just love that about him. He's like so amazing, and I can't get enough of him. I seriously can't. I really want to do a reread of the series because I love him so much. And he's just so protective of her, but not in like a bad way, like a good way, if that makes sense. Okay, so the next one is another historical romance, and I had to put Derek Craven in here, Dreaming of You, because Derek Craven is just like so swoony, and I just love him so much. I love the person he is, and even though he thinks he's not worthy enough for the heroine, he is though. Like, he's so worthy of her, and I just love his like look and just how his aura. There's something indescribable about Derek. I just can't describe it because you just have to read it. You have to read it to know. He grew up on the streets. He is definitely hardened and kind of a scarred hero, but the heroine really melts him and makes him gooey and ooey for her, and I just love that about him. So I love Derek. He's like, he makes me giddy with excitement. Okay, so now we are going to move on to book husbands. So the first one, I had to do a reread of this because I was just getting so excited remembering my feelings of this book, and that's Lawless by T.M. Frazier. I reread this last night because I was just in the mood and I was slumpy, and this, y'all, got me out of my slump. So Bear is one of my favorite heroes ever, like in dark romance. Sorry, I keep like doing this. He is brutal. He is hardened by life, and he's just like dark, but he is so there for the heroine and so here for their adventures together, and I love him so much. That's why he makes it to a book husband. Like, I could see myself with him. And I just love him so much. I love the way he is, and just like how he is such a quick thinker and so protective of her. So this starts off with our heroine met him years ago in a gas station when his friend was trying to rob the gas station, and he gives her this ring saying, like, don't tell anyone. If you ever need anything, you can show this ring to the club and I'll help you out with a favor or something. And so now fast forward years later, she is in a really sticky situation, and she needs his help. So she goes to the MC to see him, and he's not there, and she gets brutally sexually assaulted. Really brutal. And so he gets called because he's like doing something else, and because he's not a part of the MC for reasons. And so when he sees her again, he's like, what? I don't remember this girl. And then he's like, oh yeah, I gave her this ring. And so they have this like instant connection, and he helps her in her sticky situation. But because she went to that MC, now the MC's after her, the police are after her. It's kind of like, it's crazy, and it's so much fun though. He's definitely a dirty talker, and I love that about him. And he's just fantastic. I love Bear. If I could read many more books of him, I would, because he's just so much fun. And then I had to put this in because I love this person so much. And that's Butch. And this is Lover Revealed by J.R. Ward. And I just love Butch so freaking much. He is definitely my favorite brother of the series. He is a human, and he gets roped into the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I mean, like Black Dagger Brotherhood, like the Brotherhood. And he gets into something with a female vampire. And it's pretty crazy, the stuff that goes on with this book. But I love Butch so much. He's this like Boston like dude, and he really plays into where he's from, which I thought was really funny. And I just love him. I love the way he talks. He's so much fun. He's such a fun character. He keeps things light, but I also just love him so much because I don't know, just the way he treats Marissa and how he's so understanding. So yeah, I absolutely love him. Okay, so the next book. So the next book I'm going to talk about is The Surviving Trace by Kelly Reed. Etienne. I love Etienne. So this is a time travel romance, and Etienne is this French hunky historical man. And I absolutely love him. He is just such an interesting character. He has been very hurt in his past, and lost people he loves, and he really holds on to the heroine, and she might or may not go back in time, and I mean go back to her time, and she tries to get back to him, and she does, and he's maybe with somebody else now because he doesn't want to be hurt by the thought of her leaving again. And I just thought that was so noble of him, but annoying of him at the same time. But it's just amazing. I love him so much. I love the way he cares for his family. I love how he's an overprotective brother, but he's a really interesting thinker, and he's just so interesting. I love this book. It's set in the early 1900s, like 1912 up to like 1930s in the series, and it's so great. And the heroine is from the present time, and she time travels back in time. So it's a fantastic book. I love Etienne so much, and he's like one of my faves ever. So I had to put him in here. And then I have to put this one in here. Jamie from Outlander. James Alexander McIntosh Fraser. I just love him so much. I think he is such a great person and hero. The way he treats Claire, and the way he is just so, he's such an intricate character, I feel like. You know, like when you first see him, you might think he's like this like dumb, big, beautiful man, but he's not. He's a very, he thinks a lot about his decisions and what makes him him, and what makes him and Claire together. And I just love him so much, and the way he says Sassenach to her, and just their relationship, and just Jamie, because he is incredible. I I love him so much. He can never do no wrong in my eyes, but I am only on like book 2, so maybe he could, but so far, so good. Okay, so this next one will come as no surprise, and that's Reese Rice, and I don't really know if I have to say anything about this, because just saying his name is like, because he is just amazing, and the way he waits for Farah, just makes my heart yearn for him, because he is just so noble when you don't think he is, because of the things you think he did, but he didn't do, and I just love that about him, and I love how honest he is with Farah, and not deceiving, and which sounds like a good thing to have, but like, if you know the world, you know what I mean. And I just love him so much. I love the way they're together. I love how deeply in love he is with her, and how he can be serious but fun and keep everyone on their toes, and I just love him so much. He is just such an incredible character, and I want to do a reread really bad because I'm missing him. Okay, so I had to put this book in here because I freaking love this character, and that's Dean from The Bully. Dean is like one of my favorite bad boys of all time. He is like effed up sometimes, but he is just so interesting. He is kind of really traumatized by his father. His father's like not a good dude. And he gets obsessed with people. Like in the first book in the series, he gets obsessed with Anna and wants her to be his. And then now he's obsessive over Kat, but it's something else. It's not the same. It's different because he knows that she's the one for him, but he, like, subconsciously, not like right now. And I love like the steamy scenes with them because he's very like kinky, but he makes her feel safe and wanted and secure. And it's a bully romance, but it's so much fun. And I just love him so much. He is just one of my favorites. I love him so much. He can just do no wrong in my eyes, even though he is a bad boy and he has some anger issues. I just love him. I love him. He is so awesome. Okay, so the next book, I love this hero so much. Like, with my book husbands, I could literally marry any of them because they're all so amazing. And so this next one is Dante from the Anti-Heroes in Love Duet by Jana Darling. Oh my god, I just like swoon so hard for Dante. He is just so swoony and just like perfection. So he is Italian and British, and he has like an amazing accent, but he is just this big man of love, and I love that about him. I just love him so much, and the way he treats our heroine, and helps her really heal from her past. I just can't get over him. Like, he's still in my mind. This book is still in my mind. And just like the way he thinks and how he's so freaking smart and can figure stuff out and make any situation that seems impossible possible. And I love that about him. So he's definitely one of my forever heroes. I love him so much. Okay, and then I had to put this book in here, and that is Daddy Zeus from Welcome to the Dark Side. I freaking love him so much. This was probably one of the first motorcycle romances I've ever read, and I just fell head over heels in love with him. Just the way he talks. I love the way he talks. I love that he is this big man of love, like a lot of Gianna's heroes, and how he just encompasses everyone in his love, and he is so protective over his family, and I just love that so much about him, and just the way he treats Lulu and helps her, and they grow together, and I just love him so much. There's nothing else I can say because I just can't get over Daddy Zeus. He is just so much fun. He is such a fun character, and he makes me laugh out loud. He makes me giddy and happy when I read about him, so I just love him so much. And then, of course, I had to add Nova because Nova is so fun. He's, like, definitely a pretty boy, and of course, because he's named after Casanova, and He's just so much fun. He's such a fun hero. And I love the way he is with Lila. And I just love him so much. He is a tattooed goddess, but he's, I mean, not a goddess, but like a god. And I just love him so much. I love how protective he is of Lila, and how even though he doesn't want to be with her, but he does, he is still helping her all the time. And, oh, sorry. And I just love that about him. He's just so awesome. So definitely go check this out if you haven't read it yet. Okay, so this next one will probably come as no surprise. And that's Damon from Kill Switch. I love Damon. He is the definition of an anti-hero. He is the villain in like the first 2 books of the series. And we really see not like any goodness in him. But when we get to his book, you do see the goodness. Because of what he went through as a kid. And how the relationship is with the heroine. It's so interesting and amazing. They've known each other for years, and she is blind, and he helps her but kind of torments her in like a sweet way, but not like gross or bullying. And he helps her like heal from what happened, and just helps her move on, but she helps him move on too from things he worries about and stuff. And I just love Damon so much. If I could just give him a hug, he'd probably like punch me in the face though, because he's not like the hug type person. But I just love him so much. I love the way he is, even though he can be mean and dark sometimes. I just love that about him though. I'm not really explaining it that well, but there's just something about Damon that makes me like so excited because I love him so much. Okay, and then another Penelope Douglas book because I can't get enough of her, and that's Bully. Jared was like, I think this was one of my first romances I've ever read, and it's bully romance, but like Jared is one of my, like, I just can't get enough of Jared because I just love him. I love the way he plays with Tate and messes with her, but she messes back with him, and they're definitely soulmates. Like, they're the yang to each other's yang. They were best friends as kids. And I just can't get enough of Jared. I love him so much. I just want to like, I don't know what I want to do, but I just love him so much. I just love him. It's so hard to explain how much I care for these characters because I've read this book like 3 times because I just love their relationship so much and their romance. So Jared is top tier. Okay. And so the next books, oh, I forgot to add 2 more. So I have Stay With Me by Nicole Fiorina. Ollie is just amazing. He absolutely is so in love with the heroine. And I can't get enough of that. I just love that about him. He talks about her all the time. He's so into her. And I just love him so much. Like, I could cry praising how much I love Ollie from Stay With Me, but I love him. He's just amazing. And then I also forgot to grab Addicted to You, which is Lauren Hale, and I love him so much. I love how he is. He's such an intricate character because of the things he does, and he gets hurt. He's sensitive, which I love in a hero. I love seeing that, but he uses that sensitivity and anger because he's sensitive about things, and I just love that about him. And then I also had to add, of course, Connor and Reich because they're freaking amazing. I love Reich so much. He could take me on a trip any day because I would be so happy to go with him. And Connor, just the way he is with Rose, like, I can't get enough of him, like, and the way he knows her so well. Like, he is a literal genius, and he has, like, memorized everything about Rose, and I love that. But that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I had so much fun with this video. I love all of these heroes so much, and they're all incredible books, so definitely go check it out. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.